Hey, Buckets, how you doing, buddy? Man, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. I'm glad that we're both still here. You look like you got a little bit of sun. Everything all right on your end?
Yeah, it's called days off. Don't really know what days off are all about from work, especially when it comes to major tournament, because I enjoy working the major competitions, so I don't take much time off work. But when I do, I realize, oh, wait a minute, it's actually summer. I can go do things with my life. Nicole, Hot Cocoa, and the kids are out of town, so I decided to go to New York City and get fried. I did a pretty cool photo shoot, I'm not going to lie. More information on that to come. But then I also went and hung out with some good friends of mine, Michael Lahoud and Michael Volotz from the Golazzo Network, and we had a few drinks and got fried in the sunshine by the pool. It was amazing. How are you, man?
well, compared to that, I guess I'm fine. I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm watching a bunch of soccer, hanging out with the dog. Life is good, man. I'm just resting a bit. I'm resting. We've got not a ton going on, but we've got some finals to talk about, so I'm excited for that.
I was in the Golazzo Network studios the other day there, and I'm just chilling, watching one of the games. I think it was a Copa America game, and all I can hear is conversation behind me, and I heard the words, "Is that what Buckets took?" And I'm like, who the fuck is talking about buckets? I turn around and CBS Sports HQ are rocking your bets for like Copa America. Of course, you also work for CBS Sports, and your bets you put out there was like people who had a ton of money on your bets inside the studios. It made me kind of proud. I was like, wait a minute, did you get this from Stoppage time, or like, what was this thing, And yeah, of course, they were watching your morning show. So how's that going?
It makes me proud. It also stresses me out a little bit, I'm not going to lie, because I'll give out a bet in the Kazakhstani league, and someone will tweet at me saying, Buckets, I tailed 40 big ones on this one. Let's go. And I'm like, you put $40,000 on Kazakhstan. Fine. You know what? Do what you want with your money. Just be responsible. But it feels good, man. I know that we're spreading the beautiful game, and that's what matters.
Yeah, just don't blame us. Whatever. That's why we always repeat bet responsibly. Last episode was great. Obviously, you had tremendous success with your bets. I not so much when it came to the predictions. Of course, in the Euros, you went, if I'm not mistaken, 4-0 Buckets.
I like to pitch it as we as a team went 4-4, 500%. So that's not bad, Ian. That's not bad. That's all I'm saying.
That sounds a lot better than 0-4 on my end. So, yeah, today is a very heavy Buckets betting show because there's two finals to look forward to. So we're going to just go straight into the bets. And Buckets is going to provide multiple bets for each final, which I'm really excited for. But I want to thank everybody for watching the last episode and obviously making sure you're commenting, liking, subscribing, and doing all the fun things. But Buckets, let's just discuss what's coming up on today's show. We got pretty much a rapid-fire betting show because it is the Euro 24 final. And we also have the Copa America final here in the USA also upon us in two finals that take place on July 14th. We have England against Spain at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then later on that evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, it is Argentina against, oh yes, Colombia, which will be absolutely awesome. Buckets, let's get your thoughts first and foremost on the final in Euros. It's been pretty epic watching England, who you've criticized heavily, somehow find a way to the final. And Spain, this is even more epic as far as I'm concerned. Spain have reversed their tactics. They are no longer tiki-taka, pass the ball around. They are one of the more entertaining teams in European football right now, and that's why they're in the final.
Yeah, Spain, I will say, is well-deserved. I'm going to keep my criticisms on England, but I will say to Spain, absolutely congratulations to make it to the final. A hard and well-fought, series of matches to get here. Spain is the only team in this Euro competition that scored in every single one of their matches throughout the group stage and now up to the finals to this point. They have been absolutely tremendous on attack, and what makes them so much fun is they're not relying on that one focal person. It's not this Kylian Mbappe situation where if he plays bad, we're in trouble. They can have Alvaro Morata do nothing, and this team can still put in 3, 4, 5 goals. They've just got so many good attackers right now. It's been amazing to watch. And then England, congrats.
Moving on to the Copa. No, just kidding. Listen, I agree with it. And obviously Spain also being the team that won every game on the way to the final, which is incredible. Okay, they left late against Germany, 119th minute, when Mika Marino scored that winning goal. But they're a team that just go forward. I would have thought Spain would have been a team that were a bit more cautious because sometimes cautious has worked for them in major competition. But this time around, they are a different team and they are on the hunt. So the question will be, can England stop them? Argentina against Colombia. Obviously, Argentina were favourites to go through against Canada. Jesse Marsch, congratulations. Job well done for Jesse Marsch at Canada. They won one fucking game and went to a semi-final of Copa America, which is absolutely crazy. But it shows you what he's done with that team. And they were nowhere near their best. They will get better, but they were awesome to watch in the competition. Argentina go through to the final and play against Colombia. Very good performance. Great game against Uruguay. What happened after the game? Not so nice. Obviously, some tempers flared and some players were worried about their family members being attacked inside the stadiums, and I saw little scuffles all around the stadium. But Colombia make the final against Argentina, and I would have to say, Buckets, probably the two best teams making the final.
I would have to agree, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I had a future of Uruguay winning this competition. I thought that they had it in them to really put their best foot forward, but too many missed chances. And if you have an entire half to play a man up and you only get 2 shots on target in that 45 minutes, you're not playing to win that competition. So congratulations to both teams for making it to the finals. I have been very impressed by this Colombia side specifically. Argentina were the favorites to get here. They got here. They did what they needed to do. But Colombia has been fighting, and Colombia's been changing their tactics from match to match to match to however their opponents need to. And it's been really fun to watch this team play, especially, I hate to say it, it's been fun to watch their defense because this is a team that can lock things down. And while I normally don't enjoy that, it's been a lot of fun from Colombia for some reason.
Yeah, that last game against Uruguay, a man down for 60 minutes, something like that. It was absolutely crazy. And I'm thinking they're going to concede. They're going to concede. They have to concede. But they were fighting for their lives, and congratulations to all Colombian fans. Stadiums have been absolutely awesome. I love it. All right, let's get into it. We have another show today that's going to be betting heavy, Bucket. So you know what time it is?
Betting time?
You know it would be an episode of Stoppage time if we didn't get some best bets from our betting expert. Yes, that's right, the blonde bombshell, the unicorn, John Bucketsheimer. Welcome back, everybody. Buckets is about to hit the big time. Again, we go heavy on the finals for our loyal listeners today. So, Buckets, I'm looking for 4 bets from you from each game. I'm looking for a best bet for each final. I'm looking for a player best bet for each game. And I'm looking for a parlay for each game. And I'm looking for a long shot for each game. How does that make you feel, Buckets? Because I'm asking for a lot from you.
You were asking for a lot, but it's a final. This is the kind of game where you have some fun and you throw down 4 bets on each of them. So I'm here for it, baby.
All right, baby, let's get into it. We begin, of course, with the Euro final. It is Spain against England, England against Spain. It is up to you, Buckets. I want your best bet for this final. Go anywhere you want. The one that you feel this is gonna fucking hit. Take it away.
Normally, when you have a best bet, you want to find something that's maybe a little bit safe, a nice little minus 150, something to boost your confidence, Ian, but that's not how we do stuff here on the show. My best bet is sitting pretty currently at plus 100, and it is, of course, the Buckets Classic. Both teams to score at plus 100. We all knew it was coming. We all knew that when Spain plays, you bet on goals. And right now, England, even though I'm not the biggest fan of them, they've hit both teams to score in 4 of their last 5 Euro matches in this competition. Specifically, a little bit stressful because they're doing it usually in the last 20 minutes. This is a team that likes to park the bus, play things slow, and figure things out. And then usually when they go down 1-0, they decide, okay, let's make some changes, let's adjust, and let's equalize this. Meanwhile, as we already mentioned, Spain is the only team that have not only won every match, but have scored in every single Euro match. I frankly, even though it's a final, maybe they're going to switch tactics, I don't think both teams to score should be playable at plus 100. I would have played this at minus 125, minus 135 maybe. There's just too many good attackers on this pitch to bet anything else.
Well done, John Bucketsheimer, and it worked for you in the quarters or whatever it was the last time the show came out, and I'm sure it will work again because both teams want to go for it. So this one's really tasty for everybody out there. Spain on the money line is plus 150. England on the money line is plus 240. The draw is currently sitting at plus 185. Buckets, that is excellent. I love the bet. I think it's really sitting sexy right now. I would expect that to move a lot before kickoff, especially with more and more money going on these games ahead of kickoff. So everybody out there, if you can see plus numbers, you fucking jump on a bet like that. So, okay, that is bet number 1. 7 to go. Let's go to the best bet for the Copa America Final. So I'm going to do things differently. I'm not just going one tournament and sticking through it. I'm going back and forth, and I want your best bet now for Copa America. Argentina, Lionel Messi, should I keep saying that? And Colombia. Who you got, and what's your best bet?
We are once again staying away from those minus 150 numbers. And for my best bet for this match, Ian, it's plus 200. It's going to sound like a long shot, but I want you to hear me out on this one. Argentina versus Colombia. Who's going to win? Who's the better side? Frankly, I have no idea because I don't think we're going to get a winner in 90 minutes. I'm looking at the draw at plus 200 for this one. Argentina, yes, they are the better side. They've got Lautaro Martinez. They've got Julian Alvarez. They've got Lionel Messi. They've got these great goal scorers. But Argentina is not a team that scores a lot of goals. They actually frequent the under 2.5 market when they play in these Copa games. This is a team that likes to go up 1-0, maybe 2-0, and then kind of sit back, park, put their, take their foot off the gas and relax a little bit. And Colombia, as we've already talked about, is a really good defensive side. So I don't know if Argentina is going to be able to break past them in this 90. I think this will be an extremely chippy game. There's going to be a ton of cards. There's going to be a ton of fouls, but I just don't have it in me to look at a Colombia side that is unbeaten in like their last 25 games or something crazy and say that Argentina can win in 90. That being said, I think Argentina will eventually lift the cup here, but I love a draw here at plus 200, Ian.
29 games now, Colombia are unbeaten, which is absolutely ridiculous. And Buckets, it seems like you dictate the market because right now, both teams to score is currently sitting at plus 115, and both teams to score no is currently sitting at minus 155, which is absolutely insane considering what you statistically just told us there. The draw is currently sitting at plus 200. I would expect that to move as well at some point. Argentina on the money line is plus 110, Colombia plus 320 for everybody out there who's brave to go for it. Okay, there's a lot of players who are playing in these games, and when we go to the Euros, Spain have dominated by the youngsters Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Their names just continue to roll off the tongue. For England, on the other hand, Jude Bellingham's had a fine tournament, but he's not been in his best. It's been about the match winners, and Ollie Watkins came off the bench to score the winning goal. What a great finish it was. Realistically, one of the better finishes I've seen in the competition from England to get to the final, knock the Netherlands out. So sometimes it's not just about the 11 on the field, it's also about the players who are sitting on the bench and having an impact. So let's go to your Euro best bet for a player, and you could go anywhere you want, any player prop, any bet around a player. Take it away.
You have already said his name, and you're right. It does roll off the tongue. Lamine Yamal. He's the guy I'm focused on right now. You got to be a little bit careful, though, because he's really not playing a full 90 minutes. And I think there's some work rules in Germany that depending on when this match starts, he legally can't play up to a certain time I've seen. But Lamine Yamal has been on fire. The youngest guy to score in Euro history, the youngest guy to assist in Euro history, the youngest guy to win a match in Euro history, and the youngest guy to have a shot on target in his last 3 matches in a row in Euro history. Lamine Yamal, 1 shot on target, Ian, minus 120. This isn't saying he's going to score. This isn't saying he's going to dominate. This isn't saying he's going to do anything, but he is going to have that 1 shot on target. And for me, this shouldn't be playable. I wasn't expecting to see this at minus 120. I was going to do a same game parlay that included this, but when I saw that line by itself was playable, absolutely, I will take that every time. I know that England is an incredible team. They're a good defensive team. We might not see a ton of shots in this, but with Lamine Yamal in the form that he is currently in and consistently producing results and consistently producing shots on target, I have to bet this at minus 120, and I might end up playing 2 or 3 units on this one.
I love it. It's crazy. You just got to find a way to weasel your way to these incredible lines. And when I say weasel, I mean hard work, right? Because they're out there, these great lines when it comes to finals, because realistically, the books simply don't know which way these games are going to go. I'm with you on this one. I think this one will be pretty open, so shots should be out there. Yamal obviously hitting headlines for what he's done this season, and the Euros, obviously in Barcelona, he's played 60 games this campaign, but in the Euros, it's assist after assist after assist, and then scoring that fabulous goal against France to get to the final. Outstanding, but at the same time, he's only 16 years old. And I know he's about to turn 17 years old, but because he's 16 years old, Bucket pointed out there, he cannot take part in extra time and he cannot take part in penalty kicks. It was absolutely wild per German law because no player at that age is allowed to work later than, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 11 p.m. or something like that. So you can get exemption if you're a soccer player, but 11 p.m. I think it cuts off, and of course that's when extra time comes into play, and they cannot take part in penalties, which is just kind of wild right now. The state we are in, where soccer players, professional soccer players, can't play later than a certain time, is absolutely insane, because what you're basically saying is go out in the streets and cause havoc to all those youngsters out there. We don't want you on the field in a final of a Euros. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the same thing happened to Kai Havertz back in the day. Same thing happened to Florian Wirtz back in the day, which was like a year ago or 2 years ago for a youngster like him. But these finals are going to be wild. So to see an opportunity like that, it's not far away from plus numbers. I love it. I will absolutely be tailing it, Buckets. I think that's brilliant. Let's go to your best bet for a player in Copa America. Once again, there's many talented players. Now, you got to be careful with your favorite player, because I know it's not Lionel Messi. I know the favorite one for a lot of people out there is Lautaro Martinez, but he didn't play when it came to the semifinal. He was kind of rested. Julian Alvarez started and scored, which makes it interesting to me if Lautaro even gets near the field. But where's my boy Buckets gone?
It is for that exact reason that I'm not betting an Argentinian player, because you really have to flip a coin. If it lands on heads, Julian Alvarez starts. If it's tails, Lautaro Martinez starts. And in a final, I want to get as many minutes as I can, especially when, once again, I'm looking at a shot on target prop. I'm looking at Colombia, and I'm looking at Luis Diaz, one shot on target, Ian, at minus 110. He has not had a great campaign by any means, but in these big matches, in a final, you need your all-stars to show up. And the Liverpool player, Luis Diaz, is an all-star, and he needs to show up. You are not going to beat Argentina probably by sitting back for 90 minutes. You might. It's worked before for Colombia. I shouldn't say that. But eventually you're going to have to shoot, and you're going to have to probably equalize, because Argentina is capable of slowly and meticulously breaking you down. Luis Diaz is a leader for this team, and he needs to step up. And even if he's not scoring, he needs to be the guy to put that foot forward and say, we have to apply pressure, we have to look for the counterattack, and we have to produce some kind of shots. Him to get one shot on target, it's minus 110, which makes it playable for me, absolutely. But in a game where I don't think there's going to be a ton of shots, you got to look to the big names, Ian.
You said he's not had a good tournament. He's been fucking phenomenal. What are you talking about?
Damn!
Correct me. What's he done? What's he done?
The dude scored 2 goals in 5 games, took 8 shots, 4 of them on target, and 2 goals from the 4 on target. I mean, to me, he's been working his nuts off. Like, he's been working his coffee beans off. Like, that's what this kid's been doing. Like, in the last game, he played up on his own when they went a man down and never stopped running. Like, it's different from what you see at Liverpool. I get it. It's not the same Luis Diaz. He's not always like free flow and being able to attack and attack and attack and attack. He's got to work harder for Colombia. But to have 2 goals from 8 shots, 4 of them on target, efficiency at its best, man. 5 games played, he's been really impressive to me. So to have a number like that, and you're thinking maybe he's not at his best, he's actually playing brilliant football. They just got to get the ball. They've just got to get shots. They've got to get an opportunity. And I like it. I like it a lot, because you've underestimated how good he's played at this tournament. So there you go. How does that make you feel, Buckets?
It makes me feel good. I'm glad that you're calling me out, and I'm glad that you're correcting me, because when I'm only watching these games from a betting perspective, it is really hard to not give into the recency bias and see people complaining about someone missing a bet, and then me assuming, okay, maybe he's not doing as good as I think he's doing, which is where I got stuck. So, Ian, I appreciate the call out.
You're welcome. That's why we're here. Stoppage time. All right, Buckets, let's get to a cheeky little parlay for the Euros, because I want to satisfy the loyal listeners, and there are some crazy people out there who like these parlays. So if you have a same game parlay, show me what you got.
This is a really dumb one, and I'm going to preface it by saying this is a dumb same game parlay. Ian, I got to be honest with the loyal listeners, but hear me out here. 2-part parlay for Spain versus England, plus 200. The first one is Spain double chance. Spain has to win or draw in regulation time, which I think is the easy leg, because I've got Spain winning this match and lifting up the trophy. The second leg is the weird one. It is Spain to hit the woodwork in this match. Spain double chance and Spain to hit the woodwork is plus 200. I am watching this Spain team that is shooting from absolutely everywhere. They do not care if they are 15 meters outside the box. They are launching shots. They are creating a ridiculous amount of chances. And if they do end up down at any point in this game, you better believe that they're going to fire from everywhere on the pitch imaginable. This is a team that is capable of producing 15, 20 shots a match, regardless of their opponent. And I have never once in my life bet on someone to hit the woodwork. But Ian, I just thought it was a fun one. I wanted to have some fun on this game, and I wanted to cheer for maybe something a little bit stupid in this matchup. So not my favorite bet by any means, I'll be honest about that, but it's a very fun look at plus 200.
It's a different look at something unusual, but it's also something that I like a lot. At the same time, can you please just explain the rules for everybody out there to understand? Guessing hitting the woodwork has to happen within the 90 minutes. So double chance hits, Spain either win or draw, and the woodwork is hit within 90 minutes. You hit the bet. But if it goes to extra time and then they hit the woodwork in extra time, it doesn't count, right?
That is correct. But you do also get, so if it's 90 minutes plus 8 minutes of stoppage time, that stoppage time counts towards this wager. If it ends at a 1-1 draw and then they say, let's set up for extra time, that's when it's off. That has to happen before that extra time, if it is included, happens in this match.
All right, let's go to your parlay for Copa America. I'm really interested after listening to that. Now I'm interested.
This is... I almost have to apologize in advance for this parlay because this is the I hate fun parlay, Ian. I'm just going to bet. I'm going to follow my heart, and I'm going to go with what I believe is going to put money in the viewers' pockets here. It is a 2-part same game parlay, and both of these things are unders, okay? Hear me out. Under 3.5 goals in this match. I did buy it up to the 3.5 because Argentina has not seen that hit in any of their Copa matches. Parlayed with under 9.5 corner kicks. Ian, another thing that I never bet, but I'm looking at this Argentina. Put the skull down. You got to let me get through this take. Argentina do not have high scoring games. 2-0, 1-1, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. That's what they've done so far in Copa. This is not a team that gets in these slugfests where all of a sudden it's 2-1 at halftime and they're freaking out. Argentina controls the pace of this game. They will probably have 70% possession of this game, and they're going to play for that low scoring victory. Then when you look at the corner line, Argentina doesn't need corners to beat teams. They beat Canada 2-0, and Argentina only had 2 corners. They beat Ecuador 1-1 in penalties. Argentina only had 2 corners. When they played Peru, Argentina had 6, so it's a bit more, but this is a team that controls pace within the pitch. They're not creating a bunch of chances off the corners because they dominate from open play, from free play. They don't need these set pieces. So Ian, it's a weird look. Again, it's something different to cheer for, but I'm going to expect a very boring match here, and that's what I'm going to bet on.
Let's move on to the next bet before I comment.
let's do it. That's the Euro long shot, correct?
Let's get into the long shots because I know there's a lot of people out there, including the loyal listeners, who love these plus numbers. And of course, we did have, if I'm not mistaken, a correct score already prediction due to what you've said from the loyal listeners already. There's been 2 or 3 wild hits from our loyal listeners recently as well. On Euros, Copa America, it doesn't matter. The loyal listeners are just getting so creative and hitting some massive bets. So I'm intrigued to see where you're going to go. Euro final long shot bet. Take it away.
All right, Jeff, the one I texted you is different from the one I'm about to give out because I decided mid-show to switch this up on everyone because I only care about one player in this Euro match, and I'm going to focus on him. Lamine Yamal, Ian, anytime assist, plus 470 in this matchup. The same Lamine Yamal, who was leading all of Euro 2024 in assists with 3 assists in 5 matches played. You have to look at how good the attack is on the Spain side. They've got Dani Olmo. They've got Fabian Ruiz. They've got Alvaro Morata. They have so many different goal scorers, which means there's so many different pieces that Lamine Yamal can connect with. And he has so many different opportunities to be this key player in the midfield or playing up to get the good goal scorers. Not that he isn't, but to get the big names the ball here. Right now, since he is leading assists in this competition, in a game where I still think Spain are going to score 1 or 2 goals here, Ian, I've got to play this at plus 470. It's a long shot, so of course, please bet responsibly. But he's just so good, man. And I want to keep rooting on his success. So I'm willing to have 2 Yamal bets in the same match.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy considering he is leading the way, as you pointed out, with 3, the first teenager to score, to have 3 assists, 16-year-old. He's now the youngest to have 3 assists. He's also the youngest to score a goal in the Euros in a major competition for Spain, which is ridiculous. And if you look at the 2 competitions between the World Cup and the Euros, he just broke Pelé's record, being the youngest player ever to score at a major tournament. He is 16 years old.
16 years old, man.
Which is just mind-blowing.
Disgusting.
And I find those odds rude. I find it honestly rude towards him, disrespectful in many ways, that they're that high plus numbers, because you need creativity to bring this England defense down. Someone's got to be creative. And if it's not Nico Williams, it's Lamine Yamal. If it's not Lamine Yamal, it's Nico Williams. If it's not either of those two, it's a Dani Olmo. Like, there's creativeness there. But for me, out of all the players that are playing in a Spain jersey, Yamal's the most dangerous creator there. He's the one who's probably going to unlock that defense. So fucking love it. Plus four what? Plus 470?
Lamine Yamal is plus 470. Nico Williams is plus 500 if you wanted to sprinkle on both of those, though.
Gee whiz, man. You could put a unit on both of those, and if either of them have assists, you're sitting pretty at the top of the table, man. All right. It's like Leicester winning the Premier League. Let's go to your long shot for Copa America Argentina against Colombia. Big bet coming up, everybody. Let's go.
So about 8 months ago, Ian introduced something called the I have a feeling bet, which is where you bet something that you just have stuck in your gut, and maybe the stats don't back it up. Maybe the numbers say it's a bad bet, but for whatever reason, you just believe in it. And I believe in this bet so much, and there's not really a reason why, Ian, but it's plus 550, so let me tell you what it is. My long shot is for the Argentina versus Colombia match to have the correct score of 1-1 at the end of regulation. I'm going for a draw on this one already at plus 200. Now I'm taking it one step further and responsibly betting this at plus 550 to have the exact score of 1-1. This is a big time I have a feeling bet. I have looked at this Argentina side that, again, I think they've only conceded once so far in this competition, and that was that 1-1 draw to Ecuador. But Colombia have been in this position to where they know how to play these very physical, dodgy, cagey matches, and a draw, a 1-1 finish for this matchup going into penalties or whatever they're doing would be tremendous for Colombia. That is an incredible result against this Argentina side. And as we saw against Uruguay, they've got no problem parking the bus here. I think it's going to be a very boring game in terms of goals, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Give me 1-1 on this one at plus 550, Ian. Maybe it's a little bit crazy, but I've just got a feeling, man.
We got to go crazy in finals because this is the opportunity we get once every 2 years and once every 4 years in major competition for soccer. So we got to go crazy. We got to have fun. We got to make sure we embrace these moments. We'll never get it back again. And of course, the game taking place on Sunday, it's my birthday. So fucking anything could happen on Sunday. Guess where I'll be for my birthday?
Where? I have no idea.
In the studio. Damn right, baby. It's final day, baby. What do you mean, oh? I wouldn't want it any other way. In the finals, in the studio. Let's go, baby. Join me on Galazza Network Scoreline, 5 p.m. Eastern. Oh, yes. And I'll also be doing a catch-up later on that evening as well after Copa America Final, so you can catch me in the studio. Buckets, are you doing some stuff leading up to the final as well?
I will be drinking to celebrate your birthday. Unless if you're talking about my work, then absolutely. I will be on Early Edge. I will be in the CBS, not studio, but on their HQ segments doing picks as well all throughout the weekend. So something you definitely want to keep an eye out on.
Because I don't know if you heard that there was some news that broke recently about U.S. soccer. There was some, what was the news again? Oh, yeah, that's right. Greg Berhalter. U.S. Soccer Federation announces the departure of U.S. men's national team head coach Greg Berhalter. The U.S. Soccer Federation said that Greg has been relieved of his duties as head coach of the national team effective immediately. Interesting. U.S. sporting director Matt Crocker will lead and has launched a search for Berhalter's replacement. Greg Berhalter, he had a 44-17-13 record in 74 matches as U.S. men's national team head coach history and 29-9-7 when it came to official competitions during his tenure. Now, Buckets, your thoughts initially when you heard the news that Greg was gone?
My thoughts was that I didn't hear it first by myself. I heard it from the multiple people texting me saying, Buckets, he's finally gone. I had people unfortunately celebrating his dismissal, but I'm more focused on who's going to come next and who's going to be in charge of trying to put something together before this World Cup, because we don't have a lot of time to get our squad ready. So I'm hoping Jeff is right, producer Jeff, but I'm definitely worried about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, so producer Jeff, obviously very heavily Borussia Dortmund favored fanboy, and clearly wanted Jurgen Klopp to take over the US men's national team position. And Jurgen Klopp has already said 9 to that job. He's not interested in that job, which to be expected from someone who said, I'm taking a break from soccer. I'm going to go play fucking paddle. I'm going to go learn languages and fucking hike and just basically be a human being. Why the fuck would he want to take that U.S. soccer job? I mean, that is one of the most difficult jobs in world football right now. And when I say difficult, he's got a tough group of players he's got to try and turn around whoever comes in here. It might be a female that comes in. they've got to try and do a job. And you've got a World Cup right around the corner. It's going to be impossible for someone to have immediate success when you're playing in friendly games to know where this team is going to be. But first and foremost, I want to point out the fact that Greg did do a good job for U.S. national team, and Greg was unfairly treated by U.S. soccer as far as I'm concerned. He was unfairly treated by certain members of the playing staff and their families, and I feel like it was sort of doomed when he came back into the fold as the boss after what happened in the World Cup and all the news that broke after it. It was a disaster, and Greg didn't deserve that. He was a good coach for U.S. soccer. Unfortunately for Greg, it comes down to results. And unfortunately for Greg, it comes down to performance. Team didn't play well enough. The players hold all the responsibility for Greg getting fired. Not Greg Berhalter. He put a plan in place. The players didn't follow through. They didn't turn up. They didn't play well enough. In big games, they disappeared. A lot of those players need a rocket right up them because they don't understand how important this is for U.S. soccer to get it right. The next generation is already looking at you playing and already understanding that they might be better than the current group that's actually there. The golden generation. Ain't much gold in that generation right now. So much they are looking poor. They're looking soft. They're looking weak. And the firing of Greg Berhalter tells me that the players let him down. The players have to hold responsibility for this. So whoever comes into that locker room better be a strong character, better be someone who's ready to drop players if they don't play good football, and ready to not select players if they're not ready to run through a fucking brick wall for our federation, for our badge, for our flag. They better be ready to play. If you're not good enough and you're not playing good football, next, move them on. Don't care what your name is, where you play, who you are. I don't care. You've got to be given 110% for this group. And I hope that the person who comes in that door walks right into that dressing room and every single player is scared of who walks into that dressing room, knowing that they are now once again playing for their futures for the federation. Hope that satisfies a lot of people out there who've been waiting to hear from me about Greg Berhalter being fired. It's first time I've had the chance to talk about it. Now, Buckets, I did go in there and have a look at the odds of who could be the next candidate to replace. And it's not easy to find odds right now. But whoever wrote this up is fucking crazy because there's some people in there that they've got no chance. I'm intrigued to share the information with you. But if you were to have a candidate that you could select, who would it be?
It would be the guy who already said no, probably. I was a big fan of Jurgen Klopp. I know that it wasn't possible. But honestly, I'm not sure I'm looking at past that. I mean, I'm not, as you know, we talked about this on the show. I'm not the biggest follower of the United States men's national team. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. But right now, I don't know who you have to fix this. If I had to pick anyone at this point, I might say you. Get IPJ in there. Give him the call up. Start your coaching career, yeah?
No. Not interested. Mate, I play golf and talk for a living. Like, how hard could it be? Like, I play golf and talk for a living. Like, that life is good for me right now. I may talk too much and I might be in the studio too much, but I love life right now. Why would I ever want to go to a sport where there's no loyalty anymore? Like, it's just crazy, man. And coaching is different. It's a different ball game now. Anyway, here's the odds for next U.S. men's national team coach, according to whoever I stripped all these odds from. Leading candidate right now is Wilfred Nancy, according to them, at plus 600. That's not a bad shout because that's someone who's doing well in Major League Soccer. Obviously, just won MLS Cup with Columbus Crew and clearly well respected in that locker room. Not a bad shout, right?
I'm surprised he's the favorite, but I don't think it's a bad look at all.
A couple of names I'm going to roll off here. You won't even have a clue who they are. Javier Aguirre, plus 700. Matias Almeida, plus 700. Steve Cherundolo, plus 700. He is LAFC's boss right now. U.S. national team legend, soccer player, played with Greg Berhalter. Would be somewhat of a sideward step because he's a similar stature of Greg Berhalter as far as respect goes. I think you walk in the locker room, everyone respects him. But do they get scared of him? I don't know. I like Steve. He's a good friend of mine, San Diego boy, and what a player he was. He was originally called the Mayor of Hanover, John Bucketsheimer, because he had to cool Hanover. He played his whole career at Hanover in the Bundesliga and was an absolute legend of a player. An interesting story, side note, he was playing in the game when I said my farewell to FC St. Pauli. He was playing for Hanover, and they did a farewell to me before the game, and you got a big fucking signed, framed picture, thanks for your service and all this bullshit. And I remember walking back with my frame, and he's like, Why the fuck would you leave all of this? Kind of scared me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, of course, I proceeded to go to Major League Soccer, and that was the beginning of the end of my career. So maybe Steve knows a thing or two. David Wagner is at plus 900, Jim Curtin at plus 900, Steven Gerrard plus 900. This one's interesting, buckets. Vincent Kompany plus 1,000. Yes, that's right. Vincent Kompany, who just took over Bayern Munich at plus 1,000. Didier Deschamps plus 1,200, the current manager of the France national team, Frank Lampard plus 1,200. But my favorite's not even on there. Do you know who my favorite is?
I do, but I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm going to let you say it so I don't sound too dumb again.
Thierry Henry is my favorite to take over. And I will tell you why. Thierry, what a player he was. Immediately has the respect of that whole locker room, coaching staff, everyone involved in US soccer. He has a stature of a player. Like, he has a presence. Everyone automatically knows who he is, and you can never challenge. Like, no, coach, I think we should kick the ball this way. It's fucking Thierry Henry, right? He's done everything. He's a World Cup winner. He's won Champions League. He's won everything, right? You cannot ever criticize him. Coaching style maybe be different than most. But when he walks into our locker room, let's just picture this, buckets, right? All of the US soccer players, the roster of players are sitting in a locker room, and US soccer says, we've got the new boss, we're about to introduce him, and he walks in that locker room. Every single player is scared for their future, knowing that they've got to be better than their best. They've got to run harder than ever before. They've got to work harder than ever before. So I think with someone like that, someone like his stature, you immediately have a fear factor in these players because they do have talent, this group of players. They are talented, but they're not scared enough. There's no desire there. There's no like fear. I want them to be fucking quaking in their boots with this coach who walks through the door. And for me, that's Thierry Henry. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is I had the wrong guy in mind, so I'm glad I didn't say it because I would have sounded even dumber than I thought. But is it possible to get Henry?
It is possible. He is now the Olympic coach for France right now, competing in the Olympics against the USA in the same group. Actually, the opening kickoff of soccer in the Olympics is France against the USA, which is crazy to say. It's under 23 level. But what France have for a roster is ridiculous. I don't know if you saw this one, buckets, but Michael Olise scored a goal yesterday for France under 23s in a friendly game. He almost took the fucking net off the goal with the strike. But France look good, and France have one of the best rosters for under 23s I have ever seen. And if they don't win it, then maybe Thierry's not the guy. They should win it. And if he does win it, I think you give him a blank check and say, come over here. We know you want the job. He's got a place in New York already. Clearly, he's working for Paramount Plus and CBS Sports doing the Champions League show. He can still do that because he's a national team boss. Like, I just think that this, to me, it's a sexy move. It's a gamble, because it didn't quite work out for him at Montreal and Monaco when he did coach. But now at France, national team level, I think it would be a good fit, man. And I want to see someone walk in there with fear in the eyes of the players. I'm hoping it's right. And that's all I've got to say, buckets, really.
That sounded much better than anything I had to say about this, so I'm going to hit you with that hard ditto. I agree with IPJ 100%. I think Thierry Henry is the perfect fit for our national team. Sorry, Jeff, about Klopp. I thought he would have been fun, but I'm a big Thierry Henry fan now.
That is a 10-minute rant about the US men's national team boss, what happened to Greg Berhalter, and who we think should be replacing Greg Berhalter for US soccer. Buckets has got 30 minutes of best bets for everybody out there for the Euros 2024 final, England and Spain, and Copa America is already taken care of as well. It's Argentina against Colombia. Buckets, this has been a lot of fun, man. Thank you for your great work. I know we've been kind of taking somewhat of a break through the major competitions. It's been great. It's been fun to have a bit of a rest. We will vamp things back up again once we get closer to the domestic campaign, which is only a month away now, which is absolutely insane. And get this, the Scottish League Cup starts this weekend, which is absolutely crazy. Unbelievable. Major competition is almost over for the international teams, and club football in preseason is almost back again. Buckets, I appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games, and make sure you do with your bets. Make sure, like everybody else out there, including the loyal listeners, make sure you absolutely...
Stoppage time.